Okay, today I'm going to give my take on the Achimota school-Rastafarian-dreadlocks saga, and it will be about my personal experience with my hair. As you know and can see, I've kept my hair in its natural state for many years, and there's a story behind it. First, I'll talk about my big chop, and then the two major experiences after the big chop. Now, looking at the big chop, in my second year at the University of Ghana, this was in 2008, I made a practical decision. I stopped applying permanent cream to my hair to straighten and remove the texture. I did this to allow for new growth in anticipation of a big chop. This was contradictory to the wild joy I embraced soon after completing SSS, now SHS. Perming my hair was the long-awaited moment of freedom from the many years of compulsory cutting of hair per the rules of mainstream education in Ghana. But a few years down the line, it was no longer freedom and joy because of the cuts and burns from the permanent cream. My hair was really textured, and that meant more cream, and it stayed on longer before it was washed out. The terrible headaches from sitting under the hair dryer added to the excruciating pain for every trip to the salon. I gave up on the beauty is pain mantra and cut it all off. Now I'll talk about the prejudice, which is the experience after the big chop, and it's in two parts. The first encounter with prejudice over my hair was at the university where I did the big chop. When I abandoned the European hair, the quite long, straight and flowing hair, I had committed a capital offense. I had breached the conformity rule of society, and I would pay dearly. I didn't know it was a must for girls to cut their hair and for women not to cut their hair or go natural. What I encountered then was shocking. At the university, I was treated with prejudice. I was teased, mocked, ostracized because my hair had become different. I was called poor and once offered money by a boy at school who said my parents couldn't afford to pay for a perm for me. I was called small girl, house help, and a crazy girl who wanted to be like an African American. Outside campus, I was thought to be a foreigner, and the treatment was good and bad, but mostly bad. Now, the second prejudiced encounter. While I worked in the Joy FM newsroom, one day I laid down my wig and I appeared in my own hair, low and combed. What happened next was also shocking. I was asked to leave the office because my appearance was not professional. I looked like a small girl. My hair was unkempt. Fast forward, sometime after 2013, my hair had grown out and I started wearing it in twists and later big twist outs. Surprisingly, this style was somewhat accepted. The next problem was going on TV in my own hair. Some people at work had problems with it, but two men, whose names I won't mention at the top, made it possible for me to be at work and be on TV with my hair. But that was the first hurdle. Being a woman on TV in Ghana around the year 2015 with natural hair was lonely. By virtue of my hair, I was the hard woman, the I know my rights woman who wouldn't find a husband soon. I was the bushy-haired woman who needed to get herself a comb. Some colleagues even suggested I had stinky hair, even though I washed my hair every day while they wore weaves sewn on their hair, which meant no water was passing through and there was lots of warmth and so bad odor. I was automatically called Rasta and associated with Rastafarianism, even though I didn't make any such proclamation. I was treated like them, and that is with contempt. Hitherto, I didn't pay particular attention to the prejudice against the Rasta folk, and I was probably guilty of the same. Because of my unprofessional hair, was being accommodated at that time at work, I had to dress formally to look professional. That means I always had to do a shirt. I couldn't do casuals much. And yes, sometimes I worried about ending up jobless because of my hair. I always thought a day would come when I would have to choose my hair or my job between the two. Thankfully, that day never came, at least for me. Now, do something for me right now. Pick up your phone, Google professional woman, and what you will see on the internet will not look like me. In fact, the few black women you will see will not be wearing their natural hair, but long flowing weaves or wigs. I have no qualms with that decision. My hair journey continues. People still stare rudely and wonder what is wrong with hair. Others have come to accept it. It may have grown on some people too. Now, change has been at a snail's pace, but at least it has been continuing, and we're grateful for that. I want to conclude with my position on the Achimota school dreadlock saga, being summed up in this quote by Leonard Hand in 1942. He's an American judge and judicial philosopher, and he said this: "But this much I think I do know, that a society so riven that the spirit of moderation is gone, no court can save. That a society where the spirit flourishes, no court need save. That in a society which evades its responsibility by thrusting upon the courts the nature of that spirit will, in the end, perish."